Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us in the 1011 Now streaming studio. I am Madison Pitch, joined by Jared Maneri. Jared, you're with the Lincoln Lancaster County Crime Stoppers. How are you today?
Doing good.
Good, good. We actually saw each other earlier today.
Yeah.
You guys were at the Give to Lincoln Festival, right?
Yes, Give to Lincoln Day.
What were you guys doing there?
So obviously the Give to Lincoln Day is going on today. So if you happen to go downtown anytime between 10 and 2, you might have saw us all at the Tower Square. But it's all of our local fundraising for nonprofit programs. And so we had a booth down there for Crime Stoppers just to kind of get the word about what Crime Stoppers is and of course ask for some funds. But the main point we wanted out there today was just to kind of get the word out of how Crime Stoppers works and just kind of talk to some people in the public.
Yeah, how was it? How many people did you see?
It's good. There's quite a few. I mean, a lot of people, like on their lunch break, would kind of wander through.
Yeah.
So we had a decent turnout.
Yeah, there was a lot of fun, live music, a lot of people when I was there.
Yeah, and there's some actually, it was kind of neat talking to some of the other not-for-profit or nonprofit organizations that were out there. I made a few contacts that we'll probably be talking about with Crime Stoppers in the future, maybe. So I was pretty impressed with it.
Yeah, and we've got a QR code up on your screen right there, if you can see it. Jared, what does this money go to when people donate to you guys?
So basically it's going straight to the Crime Stoppers program. And just so that people are aware, Crime Stoppers is not the police department. This is a separate program. It's ran by individuals in this community that aren't law enforcement. I'm one of the law enforcement that's kind of on the board as kind of an advisor. But in our community, that's all civilian run. And so that money goes to this program because there's no federal, state, local money that goes to the program. So if it's not for donations, that program wouldn't exist. And so when you donate to that, you're literally donating to a fund just for that Crime Stoppers program, which helps pay for the program, helps pay for us to advertise it, to get it out to people, to get the target market aware of what we do and how we do it. And then, of course, to pay tips if we get good tips on cases.
Yeah, okay, that's awesome. When is the last? Today is the day to donate. This is it.
This is it.
You can donate till 11:59.
I believe
correct?
That's the last flag. Yes.
So this is kind of the last push to get some money. Yeah.
Yeah. So and again, please, if you can spare a couple bucks, even a few bucks helps. So.
Yeah, and you can follow the QR code, or you can go to your website and donate.
Yep.
Correct.
And actually, on the LincolnCrimeStoppers.com website, top one right now is help donate, help us with this fund. So.
All right, cool. Well, let's do what we came here to do, Jared, shall we? Our first one, I like to call it the Yamaha dirt bike theft. That's what I have written down. Tell me what we're looking at here.
Okay, so this is a residence kind of in the area of 54th and Layton. It's an apartment complex there. This truck backs up and there is a motorcycle that's parked off kind of behind another vehicle. There are 3 individuals. They load this truck or this motorcycle. It's like a dirt bike, and they load it into this pickup truck that we believe is an older model Chevy Silverado. So hopefully if somebody knows someone that drives a Chevy Silverado and just happens to have a new dirt bike, that might be a good tip to give us. Those are your 3 suspects at the time. And unfortunately, the cameras aren't the greatest, but we think with that truck, maybe somebody can recognize the individuals in it and give us a good tip on where that motorcycle went to and who took it.
Yeah, we've got a picture of that truck there. Jared, I mean, it's good video, but it is kind of grainy, isn't it?
Yeah, and video is kind of tough because sometimes what is bad video is actually good video because it gives you just enough to identify somebody, even if it's not a good face image. It may still be good video because it tells you what happened, how they did it, and may give you just enough clues that still, even down the road, you could prosecute because it's good info.
Yeah, so it happened, what, May 9th?
Yes.
So a couple weeks ago at 54th and Layton.
Yep.
It was an apartment complex, you said?
Yes, that's an apartment complex there. And basically the victim just kind of shows up later and finds the motorcycle missing, calls us. We didn't have any indication on who took it at the time until we actually got this video. So this video was pretty important for this case.
And from my understanding from your notes, the bike was parked behind the vehicle, so they had to go up to find the bike to get it. Was it kind of hidden away?
It looks to me like when they're parked, they're kind of storing it behind this other vehicle. Maybe it's out of the way, or maybe they're trying to kind of conceal it a little bit behind their car. Maybe this is their parking stall. I don't really know the situation of that apartment complex itself. But obviously, it's not something you probably would see just driving by. So maybe this is possible that they've kind of just stumbled on it, or maybe they live in the area and thought this is a good opportunity to take this bike.
Yeah, we had some technical glitches there, so I'm going to let the video play again. Tell me about how much damage, not damage, How much did the bike cost? How much is that person out now?
So what we have it valued at is about $1,000, and which that would actually technically be a misdemeanor as opposed to felony, because if it's over $1,500, that's when it becomes a felony. So in this case, we're looking for these three on a misdemeanor, like auto theft, basically.
Okay, that answers that question. And we were talking about earlier, is there a way that this bike is registered? Is there a way to track it that way?
Well, we know that the bike actually had a plate. So if you happen to see this and you see the plate, maybe they've removed it and they left it laying around. It's WIY179. So if it still happens to have the plate on it, that would be even easier. But yes, it has a VIN on it, so they may register it down the road, may pop up as stolen. But more than likely, since it hasn't been registered at this point, that's why we can't find it. And so they may have it somewhere else. Maybe they sold it someplace else to somebody that, I don't know, doesn't register their vehicles. Maybe they just use it out on a farm and they play around.
Got it. Got it. So if people know anything about those people in the video, about the bike, what can they do?
Obviously, you can call Crime Stoppers. You can call the police department. The non-emergency number, 441-6000, if you want to talk directly to a police officer at the department. And also, Crime Stoppers, you can remain anonymous. You can give a tip there through that phone number, 402-475-3600. You can also dial **TIPS, that's TIPS, and that will give you the exact same thing. You're going to go to a call taker there that can help you out. You can go on the LincolnCrimeStoppers.com website. This case is posted there along with many others, so you can see maybe some other tips or other cases that you might be able to give a tip on. And of course, you can always go on that P3 app. That app can be downloaded through any app store, and then you have the ability on your phone to give tips and kind of keep track of your own tips.
Yeah, all right, let's take a look at this second case. We've got a lot of video and good photos on this one. Tell me what we've got going on.
So this guy went into the U-stop out on 33rd and Cornhusker. He is upset with somebody else in the car. It's kind of off to the left of the screen that you can't see. But here he ends up he basically kind of walks in front of this vehicle. The driver stops and he yells at him, "Why'd you try to run me over?" The driver just gets attacked in this case. He punches him numerous times. Not really sure why he's so upset at this driver. And continues to punch him. Unfortunately, the driver of this vehicle did have some injuries, basically a bloody nose, but nothing too serious. But what we do know is that he got dropped off at this location in a newer white Chevy Malibu. There were two other people in that car. The images that we have of his face are basically from inside the U-stop, and he goes in, buys a drink, and that's what you see at the beginning of this movie, or this video. He kind of chucks that drink down the road. Mm-hmm. He's obviously upset with the people in that car that he was riding with, so I don't know if they just abandoned him because he was in a bad mood or something happened.
Okay, so unclear why he was dropped off there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we know he arrived in that white Chevy Malibu.
Yeah, that's kind of scary to watch him climb up on the car and start punching in.
Yeah, he's very irate.
Yeah. So it happened May 10th at the U-stop on 33rd and Cornhusker.
Correct.
Do we have a time frame when that happened?
I don't recall the time on it. Let me look it up. I can see that fine. Should have been about 10:30-ish in the evening.
Okay. And this is this guy's face. That's a pretty clear image.
Pretty clear. We're hoping somebody can identify him. The video isn't great enough that we can really get a great identification off of it, but definitely if we get a good tip and we can link that to somebody, we should be able to identify him.
Yeah. What kind of charges could he be looking at for this?
In this case, he's probably just looking at an assault charge. For the individual, we're not talking serious injury. Obviously, a bloody nose is enough of a serious injury for most people, but when you're looking legally, you're talking different levels for assault. This is probably just a basic assault charge.
Okay. And this was something I had to ask you before we even started. It doesn't even look like they were originally talking.
No, from what we understand is this guy just started to walk out, and the person in the truck kind of waved him through, like, go ahead, you can go in front of me. But he just stopped and yells at the driver, "Why'd you try to run me over?" So I don't know if he just, in his mind, thought this driver was trying to run him over, or it was just mad and just needed to take out some steam.
Yeah, yeah. So if anybody knows the man in the video or the man coming up in the pictures, we'll let those play out in a little bit. Let's go over ways to tip. And tips are anonymous. We know that they're scrubbed.
Yes.
Walk me through a little bit of that.
So basically, when you give a tip to Crime Stoppers, the good part about Crime Stoppers and why this is a separate entity from the police department is that it helps keep you anonymous. So if you give your tip there, your information is scrubbed from all of the tip information. So if you call in and you say it's my brother-in-law, that information gets removed and we just find out who it is. And we don't keep track of any IP addresses or phone numbers or any of that kind of stuff, so it can't come back to you. That's the whole point of the Crime Stoppers program, as opposed to when you call the police department. You could be called to testify in a case maybe down the road if it gets into court. With Crime Stoppers, the whole point is that you remain anonymous, and that way you can avoid retaliation from somebody you know, or just if it just scares you to make a tip on that.
Yeah. Well, Jared, thank you so much for joining us today. Do you think we missed anything about these cases that you want to add?
Absolutely not. We got it.
And just a reminder, Give to Lincoln Day is happening until 11:59 tonight, so you can scan that QR code on your screen, and it'll take you to the Crime Stoppers Give to Lincoln page. So thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week.